What's good? What's good? Welcome, everybody. Everybody that's not here yet. We waiting on people. Ain't nobody here yet, but we just presenting the show, man. How y'all doing? For the playback. What's good, everybody? We waiting on people to show up and some people to pop in, but we chilling. This my man OG Green Lantern, aka OG Lee, aka Lazarus Einstein, the big homie right here on my side. What's good, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Hey, I got a question real quick before we
Shoot,
start this
shoot.
week's show. And it's about a show we already did.
Mm-hmm.
When we did the book Bunny Mask, right? Bunny Mask.
Right.
And hey, is that book like really hot already or something, man?
Yeah. Yeah, like right away it fucking got hot. Like it blew up. I don't even think issue 2 is out yet. I'm not sure. That shit got real hot. Like they got variants of the first issue that are already causing grip. And that's kind of the trend lately with indie comics. Like right now, like Something is Killing the Children blew up real fast. Fucking Department of Truth blew up super fast. And this, the one we're talking about today, we only find them when they're dead. Lito's Way, salute, brother Dragon. What's good, man? Thanks y'all for coming through. But yeah, we only find them when they're dead is another one that blew up like that, and we're gonna talk about that today. But yeah, Bunny Mask, y'all, if y'all can get your hands on a Bunny Mask issue 1 variant, man, that shit's blowing up. But that's it's weird to me. Like, I mean, you've been in the comic industry a while, right? You've been like working at comic stores and all of that. So you know about how dramatically different the landscape is now,
Yeah.
from what it's been in the past, especially with indies and variants and all of that stuff. It's a big industry. It's a different industry almost, right?
Yeah. Oh, very, very.
Oh, gee, Lee, salute.
Hey,
Two dogs.
What's going on, fellas? Sorry
What's up,
for the
bro?
tardiness. Sorry for the tardiness, but it's hot.
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Man. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hotter than Satan's balls out there.
that's hot.
Yes, it's hot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But we was just talking about the current state of the comic industry and how indie comics and variant covers and all of this is kind of a new development that is kind of taking everything by storm. Like these indie books that are coming out, and like within a couple of issues, the first one is already worth hundreds of dollars. Like, that's just unheard of. It just doesn't happen. Like, even a Spawn #1 right now is still a couple bucks. Like,
Yeah.
it's a new thing. Like,
And for some reason, Spawn #2 was always worth more than Spawn #1. I never could figure that out.
probably because of a first appearance
Yeah.
Okay.
or a cover. Yeah. But yeah,
No, you guys got me hooked on these indie comics, man. Yes.
I'm
Hooked,
recently hooked, man. It's
Hey,
become
man. Indies are where it's at, man. Like to me, because I mean, in indies you can find capes. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But
Right.
it doesn't stop at capes, man. And I used to always tell people that would come in our shop and say they came in looking for cards, and at a time we
Right.
weren't doing cards, we were just doing comics. And I would ask them, "Oh, you don't read comics? Or you don't like comics?" And they would tell me, "Oh, I'm not into like Superman stuff."
Yeah.
And I always tell people, there's a comic book for everyone, man.
Facts.
There's whether it's horror, whether it's romance, whether it's mystery, whether it's westerns. Like there's literally comic books for no matter what you like. There's a comic for you.
This
Definitely.
is true. This is true. Yeah, I
And
agree.
so it was always the indie stuff,
Yeah.
Image, Boombox, Black Mask,
Yeah.
all
Scout,
even
AWA, Upshot. Like, yeah, man.
even the sub, like Skybound and all that, which
Right.
is really Image, but it's Kirkman's imprint.
Mm-hmm.
All these things, man. Like they're really it comics. I mean, rap comic. There's rock
Yep.
comics.
Yeah.
I mean, martial
Wrestling, pro wrestling, like whatever.
arts. Yeah, man. Like comics, man.
Yeah.
Especially indies, man. That really is where it's at. I'm not
Even
knocking
even cheap
seeing it.
cheap dollar store comics. You even got cheap dollar
Yeah,
store.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Find cool stuff in there, man.
Definitely.
yeah, it's true.
And with
That's
with
true.
the indie comics, like you said, yeah, there's capes, there's superhero stuff, but it's post apocalyptic. There's
Yeah.
sci-fi, horror, like drama, like true crime, gangster shit, mafia shit, gang banging shit, everything. It's there's some of everything, but I think the indie market is really geared towards older, more mature readers. I
Oh yeah.
mean, would you say?
Oh
I
yeah,
would, for the most part, yeah, man.
Yeah. Kind of
yeah.
comics, kind of comics in
Yeah,
general now, though.
because they break all the rules.
Right.
They have none. They give it to you raw and straight, and that's how it is. Um, you know, DC, Marvel, Image, they're still playing by the rules a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more for the other two, the big two, DC and
Right.
Marvel. Image will
Yeah.
bend it.
Yeah.
Image will bend it, and so will Dynamite and the rest of them. But
Mm-hmm. Image. Yeah, like IDW, Image, Dark Horse. They're considered. I mean, some people call them premier. Like, there's the big two, and then there's the premier, which are your, Image, IDW, Dark Horse, the kind of the bigger of the lesser, if you know what I mean. And then the rest
right.
are indies. But technically, like, if you look at the market share, it's like DC and Marvel, and then like Image, IDW, Dark Horse, and the rest of them.
Yep.
So Image
Yes.
is still an indie, like technically, and so is so are the rest of them. But some of the big indie books right now are Image, like Department of Truth. That's Image.
That's true.
Like, trying to think, what's the one they just made the movie about with Charlize Theron, the old guard, stuff like that. But like Boom Studios is going nuts right now. Boom Studios is going crazy. Something is killing children. This book that we're talking about now, we only find them when they're dead. Slick Nick, what up, bro?
Yo,
Is
I finally reading the one today. I finally figured out why the book is called "We Only Find Me." I'm hooked now,
right,
man. I gotta get issues 1 through 6 now, man. I'm
definitely.
blown away. I'm blown away, bro.
Yeah, man.
Definitely
I
blown
that's
away.
how I did. I think I read 4 or something like that. I was doing a review. Maybe it was 5 or 6 even. It was pretty far in. And I was writing a review for Al Mega. Shout out Comic Crusaders. Was doing a review for the website, a written one. And I was like, man, this is incredible. It's Al Ewing. So right away, you got somebody that's already a giant in the game. That's a phenomenal writer, one of my favorite. And then Simone DeMeo on the art he's crazy with it. So, right away you've already got the recipe for something dope. And I was hooked. Yeah, like I was like, man, this is something. It's very different. It's not like anything that's out right now. But it hit all those familiar tropes like post-apocalyptic, space-faring, space pirates, smugglers, you know what I mean? All that cool sci-fi shit that I'm into, So I was like, yeah, this is for me. So that's exactly what I did, Stu. I went and got issues 1 through 6. 7 just dropped today, so that's what we're talking about it. And this was a great issue to me, but it's because I have been reading it thus far. Lee, like, okay, for you, this was kind of your first time reading it, right?
This
Or
is
you had
okay. I read the issue before this.
okay.
So like I
Okay.
know what they're doing as far as mining, like
Right.
mining gods and stuff. And like if you pull up how those other escort ships will come to make sure you don't leave because they'll gun you down.
Right.
Right.
And then I read today. So this is only the second issue I've read.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so being that I can see you guys, if you weren't reading it so far, don't just hop into it on this issue because you're gonna be like, what's
You're
like
gonna be
what
mad. Yeah, you're gonna be mad
like
like me.
what are they talking
You're gonna
about? They said this was dope. Nah,
Yeah.
you gotta be reading it, you know what I mean? You gotta be reading it before this because this was an issue that that's kind of like, I don't call it filler because it's really moving the story forward, but it's largely talking about stuff that has happened in the past. But it starts off, in the present time. Then we skip to the past where they were still on the ship, and then we jump forward a little bit to when he first gets arrested, and then we jump forward 10 more years later, and then they jump forward another 10 years. But we'll go through all that.
Right, right.
But
I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad you said because I was trying to figure it out. I was like, wait a minute, are
yeah,
they like? Yeah, I was like, is this a flash forward or a flash? I couldn't figure it out, and I thought they were like skipping around. I was like, well, what is? I was like, what are they talking about? I mean,
yeah,
I could follow the story from what I got out of the comic,
right.
but like you said, they were moving back and forth through, different. That's the part that got me. So now that you
Right.
said it, it's making more sense now in my head.
Because you
Now
got to
that
look at the top
you
corner of some of the, when it gets to a panel, it'll say the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Where it says this is 2067. And then later it'll say
Oh, okay.
2064.
Yeah. Nah, because I seen that, but I wasn't paying attention to it. Like
Hey,
what
check
it.
this out. Hey, Stu, I didn't know, right? Like because this is only the second time I read it, so I thought this was issue number 2. I thought I read 1 and 2, and I told Reno, I go, man, I didn't like it, man. I go, the second issue, and it's already a filler because it's nothing but flashback. He goes, no, this is number 6. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So like, I thought, man, for a second issue, it's already flashback. Like, but knowing that it's not that, you know what I mean? Because I've missed 1 through 5. So
Right.
Right.
Well, just to introduce it to everybody, We Only Find Them When They're Dead is the name of the series. It's a staggering work of sci-fi brilliance. That's my man Stu's holding it up right there. Let me blow that up
right there.
so y'all can see the actual comic. It's amazing. If you're into sci-fi at all, this is like a must grab. But it's like, I mean, it's a very imaginative, very thought-provoking story. Tremendous artwork. We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Beautifully rendered sci-fi epic. The story is Al Ewing. The art is Simone DeMeo, who's phenomenal. Colors by Simone DeMeo and Marissa Maiotti, and they've done some crazy stuff here. You guys can see a little bit of the imagery around our screens here. And we'll look into the comic in a second. And it's Boom Studios indie comic. But one look at the beautifully designed covers for Boom Studios sci-fi series, We Only Find Them When They're Dead, is going to tell you that you're in for a very special comic book experience.
Yes, you are.
The writer Al Ewing and artist Simone DeMeo deliver heavily on that promise, like imaginative sci-fi story. And Al, having become a mainstream comic star, legend with brilliant work on like Immortal Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy was crazy, and he's kind of making his first foray into independent comics here. It's grand in scope, deeply personal though in focus. This first volume, issues 1 through 7, is it's a staggering work of sci-fi brilliance. That's the only way I can describe it. Ewing's concepts are amazingly realized by the dope artwork of Simone DeMeo, who's also known for Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right. So We Only Find Them When They're Dead follows the crew of an autopsy ship, which goes out into space, finds and cuts up the corpses of giant space gods, like Celestials. That if you know Marvel, the Celestials. It's kind of like Nowhere from Guardians of the Galaxy, very similar. Which
Right.
So, and they sell the dead space god body parts for money, and these the body parts
Resources
are the giant
as well.
resources, right?
Yeah.
The body parts are the resources that kind of sustain the human race at this point in the future. And it's a very Marvel idea. And it's not, like I said, it's not too far removed from something like Nowhere, really. But it's really not about the crew of the autopsy ship. It's about the feud between this hard-edged space cop chick and the grim, brooding captain of the autopsy ship. The rest of the premise that I just relayed, the autopsy ship, the dead gods, the black market of space god parts, is just the dressing, But to be fair, it's a very good dressing. It's very intriguing. But it foregrounds just why Ewing is such a big good, such a good, rather big two writer. You know, when he writes a story about TechNet, the Elders of the Universe, or Hulk being possessed by the devil, he can rely on, you know, the extant, you know, stories and knowledge to set up, you know, that universe that he knows from Marvel. He's got all that back stuff to work with. You know, when I read that Hulk story, I already know that the Hulk has different personalities, you know, that they change his physical appearance, the gamma can affect your mind. So Immortal Hulk is developing upon those sort of themes. But with this, if you it kind of expects that you kind of know some stuff. But it again, it starts out in the year 2367, so way in the future. And the autopsy ship Vihan 2 carries a crew of 4. And what the ship and crew does, like they strip mine massive floating gods for the bodily resources which sustain humanity in this future. But the captain of the ship, George Malik, I don't know if he's Jorge or George. I guess it's Jorge because it's got an ES at the end. Malik has ideas and ambitions beyond just the hauling of the chunks of celestial corpse to scrape together a living. He's got plans to take the ship out to the edges of the galaxy and discover a living god, because they only find them when they're dead. They've never seen a living one. They've only seen these giant gods as dead bodies, which is why, you know, they start harvesting or investigating them, and they found that, you know, there's all these resources and stuff made out of like their brain fluid, like their lungs, their skin. They eat the flesh like it's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
There's a whole lot in here, and it kind of
Yeah, the tech that they find, they use that.
yeah, right, and you know, but again, he's trying to find a living one because he feels like his life is like has no meaning. He's just that's all he does. Is he goes out, he mines these space gods. Like, what is it all about? What's the universe about? Like, if we can find a living one, maybe we'll get some meaning for life. You know what I mean? Or you know, as a whole. Um, he, his imagination is definitely in full effect on this. The script establishes the rules of the sci-fi society, illustrating how the human race relies on the dwindling corpses of the dead gods to keep their, you know, humanity running. But these ideas of like scarcity and like scavenging and like post-apocalyptic is stuff that Al Ewing is used to working with. Like the dread of the climate crisis is a running theme in Immortal Hulk. So, you know what I mean? And so like the skirmishes over dwindling resources and their illicit trade speak to a present day dread taken to an extreme. But Ewing keeps the engaging mystery of what lies beyond the limited human understanding of the universe as the main focus. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really get into this story, you're gonna be hooked. I promise you. Like in Hulk and Guardians of the Galaxy, Ewing has drawn on religions, both, you know, like contemporary religions and ancient religions, to color his stories, and you know, challenge his heroes to contend with their reason for being. But here, Ewing's lead, you know, character George Malik presses against the edges of the known universe to find answers to those questions of meaning that have haunted him since his earliest childhood encounter with the dead god of the abyss. He was a little kid, and he first was shown one of these dead gods, and it like changed his life. And you know, he's always wanted to find a living one. And so he makes this crazy plan to like get the crew out there, because like you said, Lee, there's these ships, there's these escorts that go with the mining ships out there, and they're weaponized, like they're fighter ships. So if these miners who are getting all this precious resources decide to just bolt and take the money, you know, take the resources and go sell them themselves, they'll get shot down immediately. So you can't, like when you're mining one of these gods, you can't take off. And when you're way out there, you know, you're going to be escorted. So basically he's got to go find a living god. He's got to take off. But they're going to think that he's running off with the resources, and they're going to shoot him down. And he knows that. So he has to devise this plan to be able to get away, which that's where that kind of hard-boiled cop comes into it. She was a cop back in the day, and his brother was her fiance. and him and his brother and his mom, they all had like a family business. They would go out, they would mine and do stuff on the black market and whatnot. And now his brother's like gonna marry this cop. And so he kind of it clicks in his mind like we can use that. She flies one of these escort fighter ships. So if she's down with the family, or at least I know she's not gonna shoot my brother down because it's her fiance. So if he's on the ship with us, we could take off and she won't shoot us down. That's his plan. But
Uh,
you know what I mean? But the brother and the fiance, the cop lady, they kind of know that. That's why the brother never rides with them when she's escorting to avoid that. And so he's got to figure out, how do I get him on the ship? So one day he's like, "Fuck it, I'm sick. I can't do it. Like, I need you, bro. I need you to hop on the ship." And long story short, he gets him on the ship. They go out. They're gonna the mom, she's like ma, like the chick from like Bonnie and Clyde, like the mom, she's like a gangster mom. So she's like, nah, we gonna get this shit, we gonna get this money and get out of here. Like, she's not gonna shoot my son. She ain't gonna shoot you down, bro. Like, let's just go. So long story short, they crash with the lady, with the cop, because she don't want to she don't want to shoot him, but at the same time she can't let him get too far, and they get too close. The son and the mom wrestle over the controls, and they crash, killing everybody except for the cop and the lead of the story, Malik. Now the cop, has a grudge with Malik because she feels like it's his fault that her fiance is dead, and she knew his whole plan, the whole thing. So she's like after him, waiting for him to fuck up, just waiting for it. Give me an excuse, please. And so he's got her to deal with, but he wants to go and find one of these gods. So they got to take off. So he talks the crew and kind of into it, and they take off. Before they distract her, they kind of take off into warp speed, and she's gonna follow, but they go into warp speed. And so Command is like, yo, you can't follow them. And she's like, fuck that, I'm going. And she goes in, jumps into the warp lane with them, and she's following them. And she, they're going, and she thinks they're running, but they're not really running. They're just trying to get out into, the outer edges to look for a living god. And he goes and he talks to her, and he's like, listen, if we keep going to warp speed, like, I know if I jump out of warp speed, you're gonna blow us up, so I can't jump out. But if you keep following me, we stay in warp speed, our ships are gonna blow up, like they're gonna fuck up. We can't just stay going warp speed, so we got to figure something out here. You got to work with us. With that, they come up, there's this big a large object, and he knows that the way their ships work, the mining ships, they work based on the gravitational pull of the gods. So they kind of need that to be able to maneuver really well. So he knows if he's got a chance to get out of, being shot by her, he's gonna need to get near something with a large gravitational pull, a planet, a giant asteroid, something. So something comes up on the radar. Okay, this is our chance. He hops out, and that large thing is a god, and it's like kind of eyes are open, like it's alive. So he's like, wow, we found it. Like, she hops out, and he's like, yo, like, look what we got here. Whole type of, whole thing. And the god opens his eyes, and light shoots out, and like everybody like panics, like people blow up. He takes off. He's gone. Nobody knows what happens. Everybody goes back home. The remaining crew that's on the ship, the dude that's in today's issue and the girl that's in today's issue, they get arrested. They go to the stockade. So in the meantime, now Malik, who took off, comes back in a way, but they haven't had a god come back in a long time because of this. And they're pretty sure it's because, Malik went out there and fucked with him. And so they're mad. They think he kind of, made the god stop sending their bodies this way or whatever. But then a god does come back, and they see the god come back. This giant celestial being comes back, and they recognize the face, and they're like, that's Malik. Like, it's him. Like, it's the guy. It's the captain. Somehow he's a god now, but he's dead, and he came back, and they harvest his body. But there's all these religious sects that worship him. because he's a god now, and then he went out and found the living God, and now all these religious sects form up and factions and all of that, and they so what's happening in today's issue is they're starting out there. I'll pull it up. They're starting out in the prison where they had actually where they had the guy, the young dude that was on the ship. Wait, where's the thing? Hold on, I'm trying to get there.
What part you looking for?
I'm trying to find. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. All right. Now, because I want to pull it up on the screen so y'all can see. Y'all can see it, right? All right. So this is the comic right here. You can see the artwork's crazy.
Phenomenal artwork.
So you see right here, it starts out, it says the year is 2414. This is way in the future after all this has gone down. The colony that they're on is called Malik's Flight. Malik was the god, the captain that originally left out. That's our main character. So she goes, she goes 3 minutes 50 seconds. Then the glitch that's keeping the cameras off goes away, and we lose the ability to speak freely. Given that time limit, is that the question you really want to ask? Because I have a better one.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you happy? Why does this keep flipping? Are you happy? Are you happy with your life? He's all old now because he was a young guy when this all started out. And now we flash back here, year 2367, on the ship, the Vihan, and they're talking about they're in that. This is during the warp chase that I was just telling you about, and they're like, we're getting ready to drop out of the warp, and this chick right here, she's like, all right, as soon as we do, they're gonna be on us, and then it's the stockade for questioning, and after that, I'm probably not gonna see you again. He's like, nah, it'll be fine, and she's like, how you figure? And he's like, we just met a living god. We've got footage. Like they're gonna want to talk. Like we're gonna be heroes, kind of thing.
Right.
That's what he thinks. But what ends up happening is they where does it go to the next? All right, so here then it goes back. See, this is where the time jumps get weird. Now we go forward a little bit, but not to where the comic started, but a little bit right after they got back from the original chase. All right, and she's questioning him, this lady here, and she's what's your name, basic shit, and then she's like, tell the people what you found out. If you were free to, she's like, basically, we can't let you out because we don't want you to tell everyone you found a living god. He thought they would have been heroes, but they're like, nah, we don't want that news to get out. Because then conspiracy. And they know that there'll be a lot of people who'll be like, nah, we can't, maybe they won't, maybe they'll fight against mining them because they were living. Who knows? Like a lot of things, they just don't want to take the risk. So this guy's basically stuck. They won't let him out. And man, is it my mouse? This is really frustrating. I'm sorry, y'all. So they won't let him out, and that's what this comic's all about. They're just jumping from different times, and they go forward 10 years, and you see that they still haven't let him out. They're still questioning him. Then they jump forward like 10 more years. They're still questioning him. They still ain't letting him out. He's got like a whole kind of life that he's, come up with, that he's had, create. And then they jump to a point where one of those religious sects that, worshipped Malik takes over the facility and kills everybody in the facility. That's where you see all the bodies and stuff laid out. And he's like, they cut that god into pieces. Like they don't deserve mercy. You know what I mean? Like this religious sect, they're mad at the, the corporations for cutting up the gods and all of that. And so he's like, yeah, we took it over. We had to kill them all. They ignored us and whoop, whoop, whoop. And it's really hard to tell this why I keep skipping. But the blood is our redemption. But I thought you'd have understood that. aren't you the chosen of Malik? So the guy, he's like the chosen. They think he's like the chosen one of Malik, so they let him live. But they don't let
So
him
he's like a
go.
Messiah. He's like a
He's
Messiah to
still
them.
and he still can't leave. Like now that they've taken over the prison, but he still can't leave. And then they jump to 2414, and now the uprising has been quelled, and the company is like back in control, and so now he's still a prisoner. Now a new group takes over, and yeah, so a new group takes over, and they want, they're kind of like that first religious sect, but they're a little different. But they got the same intentions, and so he's here telling them, man, this is hard. I don't know why it's keep flipping.
Yeah, it does that even when you read it. It does it too. So.
It never does this.
No, it does it to me when I'm reading it.
Never does.
But I had the paper copy this week. I had the physical comic this week. So I didn't.
You know what? Maybe it's too.
That's why you gotta go physical, man. That's why you gotta go physical.
Oh yeah, definitely got to get the physical book. Absolutely.
You don't
but I have the whole I got all of them. I got all the physical books. So, but then they mutiny. They take over, bust him out, or they take over. He don't know what they're gonna do with him. He's still chilling back here in the back. This is a lady that's questioning them, and then her two homegirls shoot everybody in the prison. So we don't know why really she did that. And then it's
now check it now. Right now that was all right. Now you said that was even further in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
That part right there. I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was happening in the current timeline. Like I thought it was just like a couple months later or whatever, they came to break him out. Like that's what I thought. I didn't, you know what I mean? Then I was like, well, wait a minute, it's a whole new group. But I didn't know. I couldn't figure out like how far. I didn't know it was in the future, like 10 more years. I didn't look at the numbers.
Right.
But when you said that, and now I'm thinking about it, now the story makes a lot more sense. And I gotta get the other 6 issues, brother. I'm gonna be honest, because I thoroughly enjoyed the book. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, brother.
Like just the artwork alone, he's got these crazy like color patterns. So like you can see all this kind of time frame is kind of red and green, right? And then it switches in here. It's like kind of yellow and blue and green, and then you switch to like this orange and green, and then it's like red and green, like it's different color tones for like different times.
Different times.
In the other issues, he was doing a different color when it would be a different person speaking, or a different scene. Each person would have a color, and like anytime they were the main focus of the panel, it would be that color. So he's doing like crazy things with colors. Look what he's doing with the panels. Like he's got stuff angled, going in sideways, coming in at angles.
Yeah, I thought that was funky.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of crazy stuff with the like redoing the way that comics are kind of written or drawn rather.
Hey, when the lady walks in and that guy calls her Eckert or whatever her last name is, right? And she corrects him. She goes, Jennifer, I think we've known each other long enough, by now, whatever. Okay, that's the lady that was his brother's fiance, right?
No, she's not. She's not in this comic. That brother's fiance was the cop. This lady, the reason he knows her is because she's just been in prison interviewing him for years or talking to him, kind of.
That's what I originally thought. I thought that he had just been there so long that they kind of.
That's what I thought too. Right. That's what I thought too. Like, yeah, like he had been there so long, they were just used to each other.
When you were saying that earlier, though, about his, brother and stuff like that, that's why I asked, because I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's her, and that's why she said that, but it was because he's been in there so long. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, man, wait, what? But like I said, now that y'all explained to look at the numbers, and then now I got it. Now it makes way more sense.
See,
Yeah, I
now I
mean,
want
just
5. Now that I know that was not number 2, man.
yeah. And just the complexity of like me trying to tell this story. If you're the type of person that likes sci-fi, or you like smart, intelligent literature, or you like deep stuff, or you like, stuff that's kind of complex, maybe you don't like simple shit. You're into, maybe this is for you. Like this tells you right here that this is like some deep, rich sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, dystopian future, rather, not post-apocalyptic,
Yeah,
dystopian future.
in dystopian future. Yeah, this was great, and I
Oh,
love sci-fi too, man. But this was really great, man. It blew me away. Like I was like, why did Reno give me this? Tell me to read this? Like, damn. Like
word up.
now I'm thrown off because I got to read the other 6 issues. But
Hey,
it's a great.
Yeah.
have either of you ever read or do you know about a book? And I think it was Image. I'm not 100, but I think it was Image, and it was called Southern Cross.
Was that based on
Yeah, I heard of that. I heard
with
of that.
Fist of the North
If,
Star?
hey, whoever sees this, if they've ever read Southern Cross and they love it, they would like this book, man.
Hmm.
Because Southern Cross is a sci-fi, like a mystery, a thriller. Like it's a great. It's by Becky Cloonan, who I'm a big fan of her. I love Becky Cloonan, and that's her book, man. And it's this girl who Southern Cross is either the name of the ship or the flight pattern it takes, right? And she gets on this ship in the beginning, and in the first couple issues, we find out she's traveling on this specific ship to retrieve her sister's body because her sister was mysteriously murdered. She doesn't believe stories they've given her about how her sister died, and then like weird things start happening on the ship, like it's haunted. Like it's just a crazy book, man. And like this book is very like the one we did today reminds me of
Reminiscent.
that in the aspect of it's very well written, and it's like its own thing. It's not like anyone else's, man.
Yeah.
This book, man, it just reminds me of that as far as that, you know what I mean? Like it was something so different at the time, and there's nothing else out right now like this. Like that's how that other book was, and incredible, man. Like if anyone liked that book, they would definitely love this book, man. Like they would love this. We only find them when they're dead, dude, because it's starting to get like that to me, to where it's so many things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a sci-fi mystery, but it's action. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's a tripped out book. It's like it could
It
fit
is.
so many genres, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. I thought when you said Southern Cross, you know what I thought of? Fist of the North Star. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
had the North Star and you had the Southern Cross.
It says
Yeah.
across. Dude, it was a great book, man. Like I can't. I gotta take my hat off to it. I loved it. I loved every second of it, man. Now that I know, how it's supposed to be read. Oh yeah, bro. I'm
Yeah,
going back
that's
and get the
issue
other books.
1, issue 2, issue 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is at the LCS. It's in my pull box, but I ain't been able to go pick it up yet. But that's why I got the digital, and you got one, and
Yeah.
that looks like you got a variant,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because if you notice, all these have the title real big.
Oh
Like, you know
wow.
what I mean? There's something with, only something, or we only find them when they're dead, is real big on the cover. But yours
Right.
doesn't have it. It's like small up in the corner, and you got that big picture. I saw that picture online too, so that's a dope variant.
Yeah, that's why I got it. I was like, man, that's a dope cover. I was gonna get the one like you had with the big letters. Then I seen the variant. I think it was the last. I got the last one.
You got that at Wade's?
Yeah. And going down to Wade's comic shop and pick up
Definitely.
your variant copy as well.
All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wade I think they had one. This was the last one. The rest was the other cover. So I took the variant, man. Yeah. Also picked up this variant cover.
Oh, that's the negative Green Arrow. Is that Green Arrow?
That's his son, bro.
Oh,
Have you read?
Nah.
That's Robin number 2, right?
It's Robin number 3.
Oh, number 3. Have you been reading them? Like, you know what's going on, right?
Oh,
No, I got
I've
them, but
only
I haven't read them. I got them, but I haven't read them.
one.
I have 1 and 2. Yeah, I got issue 1. I got issue 2. I just haven't read them.
Damien's like in this weird, like Mortal Kombat type of tournament, right?
Right. I thought of Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, there you go. Like Enter the Dragon. And in this issue right here, though, I can't remember his name, but he fights Green Arrow's son, man. Like, hey, Green Arrow's son beats the shit out of him.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
And then like there's like something else that I don't want to spoil it if you guys are gonna read it. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna read it because issue 1 was dope.
Like a big deal happens in that book, man. Like, you find out.
Hell yeah!
Also picked up Young Hellboy number 4.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Hellboy. I never read any Hellboy.
They're great books, bro. They're great. They're great.
The movies.
The movies are really dope. Yeah, it's the
Green Arrow,
looking at Green Arrow 80th. This is the 100-page spectacular for the 80th anniversary, like they did the 80th anniversary of Robin. So they did a Green Arrow, and this is one of the variant covers. I got the old school with him and Speedy on the cover. So it's the same thing they did when Robin had his 80th edition. DC put out a 100-page issue, which was dope. I don't know, did you read that? The Robin?
No.
Nah, it was good. It was good. Like it tells different stories. Yeah, it tells different stories. It jumps around different stories, but it's really, really good. Like it's really good. It's really good.
What's it that it's like they did one, I think, about Marvel did one, I want to say, about Thanos, and it was all different stories in this book, and some of them were just like totally messed up, man. Like, was carrying on this guy's birthday every year and the guy drives the guy nuts.
Get out.
Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep? And he just keeps doing it. Like, it's just a little anthology, man. But that's what it's like that.
Oh, okay. I gotta get that. I mean, I gotta read that. That's number 1, right?
It's so funny, huh?
Yeah,
that's number 1. Yeah.
This is what we're talking about, everybody. Robin's got his own mini series. Well, I don't know. I guess it's not a mini series. He's just an ongoing joint.
Ongoing joint, yeah.
But he's like, it's Damian Wayne. He's like a little kid, but he's nice with it. Like he being, messing up straight up UFC fighters in the cage like nothing. And he's like chosen to go to this. Like I thought of Enter the Dragon, but yeah, it's like a Mortal Kombat tournament. It's like Enter the Dragon, Street Fighter, any of those kind of things where it's like a tournament of like all the best people get a special invitation to go and like fight it out on this island. So it's really dope so far. I just got these two, by the way. The Sabertooth die cut.
Sabertooth. Yeah, that's dope. That's a dope
got a couple
cover.
Scotty joints.
Oh,
Scotty Youngs. Got the Wolverine. Scotty Young, Spidey 2099.
Spidey 2099, yeah. I like that.
And that's a homage with like Wolverine all tore up. I don't even know what comic this is too.
That's clean.
I just buy some stuff for the cover, man. I don't even have to know what it is. I started out just reading comics. Like I was just into reading them, so I wasn't worried about covers. I was just like, what's the dope story? And I want to get all those books that story, that cover that story. And then I started getting into like Virgin variant covers.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm just looking at keys and any kind of cover that's dope.
Yeah, because you got a virgin variant of the Maestro one that we got with Thanos, where he has the Infinity Gauntlet. That's a dope, man. I wish I could have found that in the version, because I definitely would have got it.
Hey Stu, you do DC, right?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, are you doing Batman Superman by any chance right now?
No, I need to, because
Hey,
I heard
they
it's
canceled it.
pretty good. I heard it's good.
It got canceled.
Did it?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
hey, like we're tripping out because out of the Batman books that are all out, detective, urban legend, everything, that's our number one seller. And
I
everybody
heard it was.
loves that book, man. Like
I heard it was good,
what's
bro. I
happening?
heard it was good. Yeah, that's why I was like, cancel. Wow, what happened?
They
I was
canceled
gonna.
it for
Matter of
whatever
fact,
reason.
I should have picked it up today, because they had one, but they were in Western uniforms. The one I had,
Yeah,
they're like cowboys. The one I seen
it
today.
looked like Cowboys and Aliens, huh?
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, and I was gonna pick it up, and I was like, oh, I said I'll come back, because I just went to get the one book, but I wound up getting one, two. I wound up picking up 4 books instead. So, but when I
Yo,
go back,
I can't
Like
I
if
can't
anybody's
stand this
watching
no
this
more,
and they're
man.
reading Batman, Superman, just know that they canceled it. And don't know why. Someone who works in the shop, that was our best Batman seller. And
I heard it was good, Lee. I heard it was really good, and I had been saying to myself, I'm gonna just get all the back issues, and I'm gonna just binge read it, and just get it and just binge read it, and just see what it's all about, because everybody talked about how good it was. I
yeah,
was reading articles and everything like that. I was like, man, it's just that good. I gotta check it out. But Batman Superman has always been really good. It's always had a good reputation
oh
for
yeah, yeah.
being a good comic. Some of the stories that things they portray, and then they have some what if scenarios and thrown in and out of there. I've always, putting them two together was always a good idea. You know what I mean? Because they're so contradictory towards each other, but they're the same. Yeah.
Man,
Or just,
I'm getting tired of this StreamYard. I'm sorry, I apologize to everybody watching right now, y'all. The image of me is really distorted, really hard to watch, and it's been that way lately. I don't know, something must have changed with my Wi-Fi or whatever, but it is not streaming right properly, man. I just had to say that I'm sorry, and I'm gonna do something. I gotta get Stu, man. We gotta get a big cord, man. I need a Ethernet cord, like a 50-foot joint.
yeah, I used to. Damn, I think I might have one still around, but it'd be like a Cat 5 though. It will. I think they're up to like Cat 9 or 10 right now. I
Oh,
had to
word.
look it up. Yeah, I had to look it up. They're cheap, bro. They're cheap. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, we'll talk after the show. We'll talk
Right.
after the show. We'll talk about it. We'll get it. We'll
Because
get it.
I'm upstairs. I'm in the man cave, like the studio here. It's upstairs. The router and all of that is attached to the living room. It's downstairs. So I'm trying to reach the router way up into here. It's like 2 rooms removed around the corner downstairs. Another, it's struggling, I think.
Nah,
Miss
you know what it
Cooley,
is? I
salute.
can tell you exactly what it is. Miss Cooley in the house. What's going on? It's bandwidth. That's all it is. Something's eating up a lot more bandwidth than your stream right now, and it's just competing for bandwidth. So you're gonna have to find.
Hold on. Run the show for me for a minute.
Alrighty.
Looking for stuff to juggle.
OG Lee. Green Arrow. What's your take on it?
You know what? When I was a kid, I never liked him. And for no reason other than he just looked like Robin Hood to me, so that was what he was in my mind.
That's what right.
So, and I was just tripping out. Why is that Robin Hood guy with superheroes? And I just never tripped on him until I got older, and people would say, "Oh, you don't trip on Green Arrow," and I'm like, "Nah." Oh, he's dope, man. He's kind of like Batman, but he'll kill people and tell me all these crazy things about him. I started tripping on him here and there, and I'm like, hey, this dude's pretty sick, man. Like,
Right.
he ain't no joke, man.
So what'd you think about? Did you start reading before he lost his arm or after he lost his arm?
It's got to be because I didn't start tripping on him until like I tripped on a little bit of him in New 52, not a lot, and then I
Right.
started like kind of tripping on him in Rebirth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
So did you read any of the stuff where he lost his arm? Did you read any? Because
no.
remember at one point, yeah, he lost his arm. He was still shooting the bow. He was using his mouth, and he had the one arm, and he was getting it.
Man.
Right, he was getting it. Yeah, that's when that's when I really paid a lot of attention to him. Then I didn't pay a lot. I knew about him. I read some stuff here and there, but I paid a lot more attention to him once he cut his arm. Once he got his arm cut off, I was like, oh man, got his. I was like, wait, whoa, what? Why is he gonna shoot the bow and arrow? And so I started reading the comic, and I was like, yo, I started tripping after that. I was like, whoa. I was like, the Green Arrow is actually kind of brutal, and he can fight. Like that's the thing. Like, yeah, like he's like a great fighter. So, but his comics back then were always, I think they would make good movies. They're always like a John Wick style. Like there was always urgency to everything he did, and he was always behind. Like, he was always behind just a little bit and always playing catch up. Yeah, that was the thing that kind of turned me on about it. I said, man, he's always playing catch up. But it was good. It was really, really good.
Hey, did you trip on any Rebirth at all or no?
I've picked them up, but I just haven't read them. I've been reading everything else, man. And that's the thing. I got to take a day, maybe a couple days. I got to take a couple days and shut down everything. My internet, my phone, everything. And I just got to read comics. Like, just go all day and just read comics.
Hell yeah.
It's much better. Much better. You got a much better picture now, sir.
I don't know about that. I don't know. It's still bad. It's better, but it's still bad, man. It should be crisp.
Well, it's better bad. It's better bad.
It's better. It's not as bad.
Yeah.
So what is what Lito's Way talking about? Robin Hood? Oh, did y'all like the CW show
of
Robin
Arrow
Hood or Arrow? I guess Arrow probably.
Arrow. I hated it.
Did you?
Hated it. What, man? Oh, please! I couldn't stand that show.
I didn't watch it. I started to I think I watched episode 1 or 2.
Right.
And yeah, and it was really great fights, like really great, choreography and action and all of that, but that wasn't gonna hold me.
People give it props. I'm not gonna lie, they give Arrow big props.
People love it. It's like 8
they
seasons.
Love it. Yeah, bro, they love Arrow. I don't know what it is, man. Why I can't get with it, man. I'm not saying it's a bad show, because when they did the crossovers, I had to watch the show. And it was pretty good, but I don't know, man. Maybe it was because when they first started, he didn't wear a mask, and it was like, he just had the hood. They weren't even calling him Arrow; they were calling him the Hood. And I was like, oh man. Then Flash comes on there one day and tells him, "You should think about wearing a mask." And next thing you know, he's wearing a mask. I'm like, come on, like, dang, like, why we gotta go through this? Like, just put the mask on and keep it moving. Like, it just, I don't know, man.
See, I didn't know Arrow wore a mask. I thought he just had a hood and like a goatee. Oh, he does. He's got the eye thing.
Yeah, he's got a mask. Yeah, look.
I'm thinking of this as a mask, but no, he's got the eye thing. Yeah.
He's got a mask. Yeah, he's got a mask, and then he's got like these special arrows. Like they never did anything on the show. Well, they did a little bit. See, if you look at this, you see all the little special arrows he's got.
Like Hawkeye.
Right. Yeah, he's got a Jack in the Box arrow, a cutlass arrow, a flashlight arrow, a fire dousing arrow, a boxing glove arrow, which is probably his most famous one. Put the boxing glove on the end.
Really?
A magnetic arrow, handcuff arrow. He's got a grenade arrow, different arrow, a drill arrow. It's just different arrows.
Yeah.
And that was the whole lore behind him back in the 60s, 70s, like that. Yeah, it was like Batman's utility belt, but it just popped out of an arrow.
Right. Yeah, he's like Marvel's Hawkeye. Same thing.
Right.
Arrow probably came out first though.
That's a good question. It's a good question. Let me see.
I can see oh, Jesus Christ. I can see DC making a Robin Hood type character and then Marvel kind of copying that with Hawkeye. Because it'd be a pretty weird thing, I think, to just come up with Hawkeye with no inspiration.
Hey, and then after him to come out with a Robin Hood like character.
Yeah, exactly. So but it's like Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson, Deathstroke and Deadpool, same character basically. They've always got their alternate, but like that's another like Heroes Reborn that's going on right now. Actually, just ended. Was a dope Marvel comic where they had a team that's basically a Justice League type team. Hyperion is the Superman. Black Hawk, I think is the Batman type, and then there's like there's a speedster. There's there's someone for each character, and the whole world is actually like different from the regular Marvel universe. It starts off and you got Blade, but he remembers the 616, the original Marvel universe, but he sees that everything's different. There's no Avengers; they don't exist. A lot of the superheroes are not doing their thing. Like he sees Robbie Reyes, and he's like, "Yo, Ghost Rider," and he's like, "Who? What the fuck you talking about? It sound like some kind of drug.
Wow.
Like you should chill out, junkie." And I mean, like they don't even know.
And
But
continuity, it's its own thing, or
it's like it was a short series that Marvel did, maybe 10, 12 books or something like that, called Heroes Reborn, which they already did a thing called Heroes Reborn, decades ago, but this is completely different. But
That's just new, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a cool concept that they have, and they use like a DC, Justice League type mock team. And I haven't read it all yet, but apparently, like Blade, because he remembers the old world, but no one else does. So he's like, damn, am I crazy? Like, the fuck? Like, so he's trying to find someone else who also knows that shit is different.
Right. And different in the 616.
Different in the 616. Like certain heroes, certain superheroes don't exist and all that. And assumingly he finds someone else that does know, and then they, probably get the Avengers to come and come together or realize who they are or whatever. Like Tony Stark is in it, but he's just a weapons dealer.
Right.
He's not Iron Man.
He's not Iron Man. Yeah. Now, Green Arrow, 1941.
Woo!
That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew because DC was the old. DC been around way longer, way longer, like 20 years longer. Like they were popping in the 30s, I think, and then Marvel kind of came around in the 60s. There was a pre-Marvel, but like when Stan Lee took it, that's when it was Marvel.
Okay, yeah, that's one of DC's oldest heroes. Would be Green Lantern. He'd be one of the older ones.
Yep, Green Arrow, and that makes sense. That's a character they would have came out with back then. Robin Hood. It's Robin Hood. It's not something they would have came out with nowadays.
But they call it Green Arrow. Yeah. All right.
That's why I was never a DC guy. Like I was always a Marvel dude, just because I felt like DC was a little bit like too on the nose with everything. Like Superman, like everyone's like Tornado Man. You know what I mean? Like it's really just like obvious,
Batman,
right? And whereas Marvel
Man Hunter,
right? Marvel has
man,
Aquaman, like Waterman, like but Marvel has their Spider-Man and all, Ant-Man and all of that, but they just have a little bit more of nuance, I guess, sort of not just character names, but storylines. Like the heroes aren't, and this is to give it up to DC. They've changed all of this, but when I was a kid, like, and back in the day, like, and from like the '80s cartoons and all of that, like DC was very, I don't want to say happy go lucky, but like
No.
the superheroes, they didn't have real human problems. Like they didn't really go through real problems and shit like that. Whereas that's what Marvel was really all about. That's
Oh,
how
wait a
Stan Lee
minute.
started
Wait
it.
a minute. Batman had real problems. First of all, he's rich, so rich people don't have too many problems.
Hmm. And he's so rich that he could do whatever he fucking imagines whenever he
Like,
wants. But Spider-Man's struggling to pay rent. You know what I mean?
well, Superman struggled to pay rent. Also,
But Superman can't be killed. He's just infallible. Like he can
He
do
can
anything he wants to do.
he's been
Oh,
shot.
my
He's been
fucking
shot with a crypt. Matter of
Lois
fact, he's
Lane
been
died.
shot.
Let me fly around the
Matter of
planet
fact,
and
wait
make
a minute.
time go backwards.
The Avengers did it. They got the stones and went back in time. Okay, Soup
Right.
just took the
Which
easy way. Soup
cosmic
just did it the easy way. Right,
Yeah,
Soup did it the easy way.
yeah.
He just flew back. He just
Just
turned the Earth backwards and just turned.
rotated
That's
the
the
earth
easy
back.
way. Right, that's the easy way of
That's
turning
the
going
easy
back in
shit.
time. Yeah,
Right.
that's the easy way. Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
Right.
Soup knew that. Yeah.
But no, like I said, man, to give it up to DC, like they've got like, cause what I like dark stories. I like when it's dark. Like I like noir shit. And
They got it. DC's got it. I mean,
yes,
DC's got it.
DC's definitely going dark.
Well,
Like
Superman's been shot by a kryptonite bullet, and
now,
that's all the rage right now
right.
because Idris Elba's character,
Bloodsport.
in the new Bloodsport, in the new Suicide movie, people were they showed a clip where they said why was he in jail, and Amanda Waller says, oh he's being he's being convicted for shooting Superman with a
Yeah.
kryptonite bullet. So
All
people
right.
were like, oh, how could he shoot Superman? But it
Yeah.
really happened in the comic. They thought James Gwynn made it up for the movie, but no, it literally really happened in the comic.
Right.
Bloodsport did shoot Superman with a kryptonite bullet and almost kill him.
And the bullet, it's like stuck in him and it made him weak and shit, or did he just was gonna die?
A little bit of both. Stuck, they had to remove the bullet, things like that.
Yeah, but like I'm not like Superman is just
He was in the hospital.
He was just too like, if you don't have this one element that's from a planet that doesn't even exist anymore, which I don't know how they keep coming up with fucking kryptonite when the planet is gone, and how Kryptonians keep showing up, different Kryptonians and shit. I thought everyone died.
Whoa. Well, listen, wait a minute. They keep finding kryptonite because when the planet blew up, pieces of it just scattered all over the galaxy and the universe. And they keep finding different Kryptonians because they had colonies in other places. So those people are still Kryptonians, and they still have the same physiology as Superman. Like Kandahar. I mean, not Kandahar. What's the city that Brainiac has in his ship? Candace something. I forget. It come to me. But one of the cities, Brainiac shrunk it, stole it, and he had it in the ship. They're all Kryptonians, and they were living. Superman never knew they existed until he defeated Brainiac, and then he rescued him. But he can't restore them back to their normal size. So they're like little. They're like
tiny.
They're like they're tiny. They're like the size of Ant-Man when he goes little. So they're little, but they still have the strength of Superman. They're just as strong. Power Girl is one of them, and she is big, but she's Power Girl. So that's just different. But that's a whole nother story. But we know Zod and his crew came out of
they was in
Phantom
that
Zone.
dimension.
They were in the Phantom Zone.
Right.
They were in the Phantom Zone. So some people could, some people survived.
Okay.
And we know Doomsday was created by the Kryptonians as a super soldier project that went bad. And that was from another colony of Kryptonians.
And where? All right. But Lito's way perfectly said it. He said DC was like cut and dry, good is good, evil is evil. Whereas Marvel, the villains were people who had good intentions, but in times but went astray. Heroes did bad things as well. Yeah, like nuanced, like even like Thanos in the movies in the MCU.
Right.
I was like, I feel him though. Like he's the bad guy and he's gonna kill half the population of the universe, but he's got a point. Like it would be better for everybody if there was half the motherfuckers around. Like that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. That'd be great right now, being in the middle of a pandemic.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
people be less people with coronavirus.
And obviously nobody would choose to do this, but this is a guy who's like, nah, I'm gonna do it because. And they didn't really touch
So
on in the
that means,
movies
oh
that
wait a minute, Reno. Wait a minute,
yes,
Reno. So you just wait a minute. You just stumbled onto something there.
okay.
So that means, listen. So that means Ultron was right when we watched the movie.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he was.
Because remember what Ultron told him in the movie. He was like, "Look, I have seen your future. You're doomed anyway." You know what I
Right,
mean? So he says, "I'm just speeding it along."
right,
Like, he told
right.
him that Thanos was coming, which he knew, and he said, if it's not going to be me, it's going to be somebody else, but it's going to
Mhm.
happen. So Ultron was right. He just didn't elaborate on the subject. He just told him, their future. So he was right, basically. And he
Right.
wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to take out like half the population.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like Ultron was this bad guy, but was he really bad? He was just an AI system that figured shit out that we couldn't deal with or come to admit or come to grips with. And he was, he's a robot, so he don't have those problems.
Right. Because
You know,
remember,
a
he
lot of
touched the Mind Stone. Remember when he touched the Mind Stone, he was like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not seeing something.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And there's a lot of characters like that. There's a lot of characters like a lot of the villains, so-called villains, are like good intentioned scientists that were trying to help humanity and got fucked up and now they're the lizard or whatever. You know what I mean? And
right. Doc Ock.
right. And so it's like you could feel like you could understand them, and then you got good guys who, they might cut corners or do bad shit. I mean, goddamn, the Punisher. This is a man that literally just goes around and blows people up. Like he just shoots motherfuckers. He just kills them. Like he don't care. He'll murder the whole mafia. And
Yes, he will.
But they're bad people.
right, they're
In his
bad
eyes,
people.
right? In his eyes.
In his eyes.
Don't give him the War Machine suit because you're done after that.
You know what I
Don't give
mean?
him the War Machine armor.
Forget about it.
You
It's
really.
over.
All right. Well, look,
Things
fellas,
like
I got to
why
sign. No, go ahead.
it's been okay. Nah, I was just reading Lito's
Yeah, it's
way
about
thing.
7:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I
is
gotta
why I think
sign
like
off, man.
Suicide Squad was dope. The Suicide Squad was dope for DC. Makes us change the way we look at villainy and heroism, right? Because we have, that was good for DC, and it's kind of that same thing. Suicide Squad is like
Wait a
villains
minute.
that are now
Wait. Well, let's go
good
back.
guys or whatever.
Well, if you take Batman's characters, they kind of like teeter. Batman's characters teeter on the brink of good and bad. Like,
If you look at my boxes right there, I have a box that's my DC box. It's all Batman. Like I fuck with Batman.
He's hella anti, bro.
I
Like
fuck
that
with
dude.
Batman heavy. Batman's my main. Like when I got
right.
it's Wolverine, Batman, right? Cable. Like these are my favorite characters. So
Let's look at Hugo Strange. He was kind of,
right.
he was
Yeah,
kind
man.
of, he was kind of on the ins and outs. So it's just different. Clayface is another one that's kind of back and forth.
Shout out Clayface 90.
Yeah, Clayface 90. Yeah, salute. Yeah, so DC's kind of got it, but they're just darker, man. It's just the stories are just darker.
That's I think a more of a recenter type development though. Like I agree and I dig that. Like that's why I'm really heavily starting to get into DC. Like I'm just saying why I wasn't originally, like why I wasn't from the 80s, because it just seemed to me like all I knew was like when Batman came out, it was like I didn't even see that as DC almost. Like Batman was just its own thing.
Right.
So it didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, but
no, you're right, because a lot of people thought that. You're not alone in that. A lot of people thought that. A lot of people like, and to be honest with you, in the 80s, bro, people hated Superman. They couldn't stand him. It was like, damn, can you do anything to stop him? Is there any? That's why they decided to kill him. People were like, yo, like what is it? Like you got some really strong characters. Like one of the biggest questions they always ask is how can he go blow to blow with Darkseid? How? Like how can he go blow to blow with Orion?
Right.
Like it just shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Superman he should have got stomped into the concrete on that.
Yeah, because it's like how strong is he? You see him struggling with one thing, but yet he can fight, gods. It's like where's his power limit? Like it's inconsistent.
Well, that's why they came up with the thing. Not only is he weak to kryptonite, but he's weak to magic, which he should be. Yeah, because you got some strong magic wielders in the DC universe.
Yep.
Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam. Like that's like, yeah, that's right there. But anyway, fellas, I love to finish this, but I got to sign off right now.
No, we wrapping it up, man. It's been an hour. We 10 minutes over, so hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, man. Salute everybody. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you everybody in the chat right now.
Thank everybody. Don't forget to pick up the Green Arrow 80th anniversary edition. Yeah, get the Green Arrow.
Shout out Spadeonomics, Spade Man Channel 8187. He said they didn't necessarily hate Superman. They thought he was overpowered. And
they did.
Yo, that's the number one Superman fan right there. Like
no, Spadeonomics is right. He did. People used to write in. I used to read the back of the comics. You reading letters. People would always they would complain about Superman horribly.
Yeah.
They hated Superman. They hated Robins. They hated certain Robins.
Yeah.
They just hated them. So like, it's just certain characters DC fans they just couldn't stand. And Superman.
That's why. But they started to do shit like they made Robin in the Nightwing, and that was cool. You know what I mean?
That was really cool. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People dug that.
They started to come around, and I think now they're definitely dope. Right now, DC is killing it. Like dope. DC is crazy. But yeah, man. Shout out everybody. Shout out Madman the Comics. Shout out Comic Dudes Instagram. Everybody check us out. 6 Element of Hip Hop on Instagram. And we're gonna be back Friday. Well, Stu will be back Friday 6 p.m. for the Artist Showcase Full Blast Radio. Check that out 6 p.m. Friday. And I want to tell y'all, check out my man Inked Out Comics. Inked Out Comics. He's on Instagram. Sells crazy deals. He's got crazy grails, crazy gems, crazy keys, all of that good stuff. Check him out on Instagram. And salute everybody.
Salute.
Peace out.